Since the beginning of United Nations, if we go a little bit before United Nations, called the League of Nations in 1920 after the First World War, and then later United Nations, one of the clear rules in terms of United Nations decisions and around United Nations is that we need to agree upon the rules. If there is many countries that disagree, will not be incorporated by United Nations. So basically, what the United States does is they overuse the term of I would say international rule and use their own vision to impose or to dictate different ways to behave other countries. That's absurd, in my opinion. That happens a lot, not just with China, but happens with Latin American countries a lot when they have a vision, what they call democracy, when they have a vision, what they call international trade, and they want the other countries to abide for their law. In my opinion, that's wrong, and we should acknowledge any international rules that is not a law, is rules, is a guideline. We need to look at the United Nations Charter. That's it.
For me, it should be pointed out at the very beginning, there is no such an exact term as rules-based international order in international law. On the surface, the term invented by the US is neutral. As a matter of fact, it's meant to confer moral superiority on whoever invents it and whoever is using it. For example, when the US uses the term to blame China or other country for its international behavior, it's suggesting that the blamed country is not abiding by the rules. For me, it should be reminded that whether the rule-based international order depends on what rules the user is referring to. If the rules refer to those embedded in the UN Charter, the term is welcoming. The problem is that the US often imparts its own understanding to the international rules. Sometimes the US even refers to its own rules or the rules made by itself and its alliance. That's why many countries do not agree with this term. One country will be in a position to impose unilaterally its own rules upon other countries. For China, I think international order, there is only one international order which should be centered around the United Nations. And there's only one international law that is based on the UN Charter and the well-recognized principles of international law.